Hey, how's it going, guys? We are back with reactions for the final two episodes of Buffy season one. It's been quite the journey. It's been quite the journey and a very fun one. A mostly fun one. A mostly fun one, if you know. And you know, if you don't, then don't be misled. I love this. I've loved this season. I love this show so far. But yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride. Coming up close to this is the kind of penultimate kind of episode. And I think so far, I think the season's been mostly kind of here and there. Like, I think it's had some kind of connective kind of arcs and story stuff, but I think for the most part, they've just kind of been having fun with whatever kind of stories and monsters and creatures they can have. I think this episode, this season has felt kind of like a lot of it has felt very kind of monster of the week ish. In reference to that kind of like formula that these kinds of shows can really kind of follow, and it's been great. That's been great. They've explored a lot of interesting stuff and a lot of wild and wacky stuff. So it's been cool. But now we are on episode number 11. So after this is one more episode, and then is season two. So thank you for joining me and sticking up with me on this crazy ride and everything. So can't wait to see exactly how the story continues into the second season once we get to it. But all in good time. So last time we had episode 10. We had episode 10, which was the episode with the Nightmare Realm. We had the boy, I believe his name. I wrote it down somewhere. Billy. I think no, that's Buffy. Billy, I think his name is Billy. Billy was a kind of he played baseball. I think baseball. He played baseball in the little league. I think the little league or kiddie league or something. I think it was like a kind of like a sports team for juniors, pretty much like kids and everything. And he made one mistake, and then his coach was not a very good man. His coach was not a very good man. He was a very, very bad man. Very, very kind of hazardous to Billy's health. And he berated Billy to begin with, but then he literally beat him into a coma. And then Billy kind of astral projected in his coma and ended up actually traveling to the dream realm. But then even when he came back to the real world, he brought the dream realm with him. So then, or the nightmare realm rather, and he brought everyone's nightmares to life. He started off with spiders. Started off on one of the worst possible things. He started off with spiders. Which very much caught me by surprise in the worst way. So there was that, and then I think we had a couple of dreams here and there for certain people. I think Buffy, like, her main one was actually being rejected and being tormented by her father, like being told by her father that she wasn't like worth it, and like just being endlessly chastised and talked down to, and being torn, like having her kind of character torn apart by her father and everything. So that was terrifying for her. I think Giles had one where he got lost in one of the kind of storage rooms of the library or something, but then he also couldn't read. He had trouble reading, where I think he either couldn't see the words, or like the words were kind of like literally kind of transformed into gibberish, so he couldn't really read them like in any understandable way. So there was that. Xander had a couple. I think his first one was actually showing up naked in the class. Well, near naked. He still had his underwear on, so there was that. But then I think then he walked into a corridor, and there was some. I think that there was the Nazi stuff that was never properly addressed, besides from that one kind of throwaway line that he had. But then that they still showed up in his nightmare. But then he never really kind of paid much attention to it. But then the more kind of I think the more kind of common one was him being afraid of clowns and him being chased through the hallway by a clown before he right hooked it into the face and everything. So his was there, and then I think Willow's one was Willow's one also very understandable. Hers was stage fright. Like, she was taken. I think she was taken to the opera, and then she forgot her lines, and she didn't really have like the right kind of voice for opera. So then she kind of faced the backlash of that. So then that was there, and then I think they even brought Cordelia into this too. They even actually gave Cordelia some of that. I think her main one, her main and only one, was actually just kind of being like having a bad hair day, and then having her entire kind of a clothing aesthetic changed, and then being dragged into the chess club and everything. So everyone got a little bit of something. I think well, all the kind of important and kind of noteworthy characters got got a little bit of something. So a bit of something for everyone. But in the end, Buffy did help Billy face his fears and unmask the ugly man, the guy with the literal baseball club for a hand and everything. And then even in the real world, she got him to face his fear and actually accurately accuse his coach of having done what he did, and the coach was sent to prison, kicked out the team as well, and then sent to prison as well. So that was a neat little resolution in the end. And then she even actually got the actual proper kind of more heartwarming meeting with her father. Well, hopefully heartwarming meeting with her father in the end. Her father still showed up at the end. at the school and everything. So yeah, resolutions at the end, ahoy. So I think she was in. I think she was in a grade 2. I think she had to face the master, and and he buried her alive, and then she came back as a vampire, and that was the whole thing. And then Giles had to, face having potentially lost her and having lost her to the evil that he was meant to train her to resist and everything. So it was like everyone got a bit of something. I don't know if I need to recap every last detail, but I'm probably gonna. But yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Just like the Nightmare Realm transferring, and then everyone having to face like things that they were afraid of, and then the lesson in the end being taught like you need to face your fears and unmask them if need be, and face what they really are, and hope prevails, all that kind of jazz. So yeah, it was a fun episode. So looking forward to seeing what exactly what these last two episodes might hold. I think I'm really curious if they're actually going to go anywhere like in these last two episodes with the whole kind of anointed one thing and then like the master thing. Because I think the master was introduced like pretty much from the get go, and with the harvest, and the harvest was his first plan, and that went awry. So now seems his last or maybe his kind of next hope lies with the anointed one, and he's had the anointed one for a while. He's been been keeping the kid in his little kind of in his little vampire cave of horror and mysteries for pretty much the entire season now. So, I don't know if he's actually going to go do something with the kid, or if that's going to be saved for season 2 for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, now, like, at this point, it feels like a suitable enough amount of time where we really could be seeing something, and actually hopefully seeing the Master put that dark side training into some kind of fruition. So, maybe he's Palpatine and, the Anointed One is freaking Vader. So hopefully they can actually do some kind of, something, in like exciting in these last 2 episodes. So we'll see. But that is pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode number 11 of Buffy season 1. So yeah, let's go.
Mr. Giles has this, hobby of collecting stuff.
Buffy, it's a lot better for everyone if you don't bother to explain, right?
He's always hanging with that creepy librarian in that creepy library.
The library's not creepy. Giles definitely isn't creepy. He's wholesome and fatherly.
People who think their problems are so huge craze me. Like this time I sort of ran over this girl on her bike.
Oh, Christ.
It's the most traumatizing event of my life, and she's trying to make it about her
life.
Oh, gee. Like my pain meant nothing.
Well, Cordelia's raised an interesting point here.
Should I even have any words about this? Should I really have any words about this? Like, should I really be saying anything?
You gotta look good to be on Cordelia's arm.
Oh, it's not her arm I'm looking to be on.
Oh, that's what he meant. Oh, I thought he was gonna. I thought he meant it wasn't her arm he was looking to be on. I thought he was gonna ditch her or something, but no. Oh, creepy girl giggling. That never ends well, does it? Oh, someone took the ball. Oh. Who the hell is beating the crap out of Mitch with a baseball bat? Are they invisible? Or is it levitation? I think it must be invisible, right? Gotta be invisibility. I can totally see invisibility being a thing. Also levitation. Either one of those two.
Now remember who to vote for May Queen, as in me.
Oh, yeah. That's how democracy works. Yeah, make sure you vote for me now.
Well, we didn't call it May Queen, but...
I didn't even know May Queen was a thing. All I know about was Prom King and Queen. Yeah.
I heard something.
Not terrible.
Tried to grab a bat.
Pretty injured, but...
It hit me.
Mitch was gonna sue the school?
Oh, that got him riled up. Best distraction. You see, those are best friends. They help you trespass into crime scenes.
Other lawyers call him the Beast.
Sounds like a name for a lawyer. Who needs Daredevil when you can have the Beast? Loser or look.
Never actually heard of anyone attacked by a lone baseball bat before.
Maybe it's a vampire bat. I'm alone with that one.
Oh, that was good. That was a good one.
Why don't you compile a list of dead or missing kids?
At Sunnydale? That's gonna take you forever. That's gonna take you forever.
Research all the possibilities, ghosts included. But Xander, if you're not doing anything, would you like to help me?
What, so there's homework now? When did that happen?
Talk to Cordelia.
Talk to Cordelia? So, research.
Coming, Giles, coming.
Why is she always trying to...
Whoa! Oh, the invisible person's there? Oh. Even after all this, she's still just kind of hiding away and giggling away. God damn it. Is she up in the ceiling? Oh god, that is so creepy.
Joss, have you ever touched a ghost?
Who are they?
No, from what I've heard, having a
Those two men in black.
Well, I wouldn't use my powers to beat people up. I'd use my powers to protect the girls' locker room.
It must be a fairly heady experience.
Greek myths speak of cloaks of invisibility, but they're usually for the gods.
Do you know about the Greek myths?
Research boy?
Yeah, well, hey, he did research. He did do some research, so it pays off.
She's got a grudge.
The common denominator.
Cordelia. So are they disconnecting her from the people around her? Trying to isolate her? Nostalgia for Buffy, maybe? Yeah. She used to be a part of this, part of all of this. Oh! Angel! Hey, oh! Yeah, no reflection. Yeah, no reflection. Angel!
Vampire casts no reflection.
Angel's back!
Don't worry. I'm not here to eat.
Angel, how you
Tell
doing?
me you don't feed from humans anymore.
Return of the King, Return of the Angel.
A vampire in love with a slayer.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
The poetic Pergamum Codex.
Codex.
It's reputed to have contained the most complete prophecies about the Slayer's role in the end years.
A codex about the end years of the Slayer?
A wonderful power to possess.
I don't know. Looking in the mirror every day and seeing nothing there.
He's about to get deep, isn't he? He's about to get deep.
Sitting through another
Oh, I know her. I recognize that actress.
I know, but did you see his toupee? I mean, it was like the worst.
We're talking, okay?
Oh,
Yeah, she was left out. So yeah, she was left out by them. Who the hell are these men in black?
Bodyguard or something?
Oh, the vents. It's a lot cleaner than I expected. A lot cleaner. Whoa. Is there like a whole bed up here? Like a whole living, like a makeshift living space? I think is that food? I see a bowl. Oh no, is she there? Oh god, she's there, isn't she? She's actually... Oh no. Oh geez, she's breathing so quietly too. Oh no, is she gonna go for a teacher?
Cordelia, could you possibly be on time?
Is she gonna go for the teacher instead? Oh. Oh.
my god! Miss Miller! Are you okay?
Oh, she's alive! Okay, she's alive. Oh, Miss Miller's alive.
What happened?
Okay, she's alive. Listen. First look, now listen. Is she gonna test all 5 senses? Is the next one gonna be smell?
Have a nice summer. This girl had no
She
friends
wrote
at
all those
all.
messages herself.
Have a nice summer is what you write when you have nothing to say.
Oh.
It's the kiss of death.
Oh.
You guys didn't know Marcy Ross?
Have a great summer. See, I cared.
You guys don't
Have a
remember
great
her?
summer. Oh.
No,
Did she just blend in really, really well?
noticed her.
I've been investigating the mystical causes of invisibility when I should have looked at the quantum mechanical. People perceived Marcy as
So she literally turned invisible. Really?
So,
Just
who
like
knows the
that?
answer to this?
Even the teachers ignored her? Seriously?
Willow?
Xander.
Why can't he be both? I mean, he did do some things that were
Even
heroic.
teachers ignored her.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Who doesn't agree with that?
Okay, I mean, when a student willingly puts their hand up, you gotta give them a chance. When they willingly put their hand up, you gotta give them a chance. That's like crossing a line at that point.
I know we've had our differences with you being so weird and all, and hanging out with these total losers. Ooh.
Great start, Cordelia.
Alright,
Great start,
alright.
Cordelia.
I know that you share this feeling that we have for each other, deep down.
Nausea?
They just tried to kill Mrs. Miller
Oh, jeez. Willow.
and Mitch. This is all about me. Me.
Wow,
Me.
for once she's right.
And I know you're very strong, and you've got all those weapons. I was kind of hoping you were in a gang.
Oh, God. What do you think she's gonna do? Bludgeon Marcy to death? What do you realistically think she's gonna do? Just take a mace to Marcy or something? A mace for Marcy? No. You need to apologize to her. You need to get Marcy to come out.
I recall ever seeing you here before.
Oh no, I have a life.
Okay. Cordelia attacker is invisible.
Who was really angry, which I can't imagine.
Look and listen.
Messages we don't understand.
Look and listen. Look at Marcy. Listen to Marcy. I don't really think it's that complicated.
You think I'm never lonely because I'm so cute and popular? Everyone's so busy agreeing with me, they don't hear a word I say.
Well, if you feel so alone, then why do you work so hard at being popular?
Well, it beats being alone all by yourself.
Interesting. I won't lie. Interesting. Interesting take on Cordelia's character after all this time. The flute. Marcy's playing. Marcy's about to go into America's Got Talent. Years before it's even a thing.
Can you say gulp?
Oh shit. Oh yeah, she's locked them in. She's locked them in. Oh, is that gas? Gas leakage?
I did sort of feel like something was wrong.
Is that when you became weird and got kicked out?
For Christ's sake, this girl just... She has like 90% actual, you know, aggravation, and then there's like the 10% that's like, oh, actual heartfelt, oh crap. Oh no. Oh, there we go, power punch. Oh, whoosh. Oh, I thought she was hanging. Oh god, I literally thought she was hanging. I thought she was hanging off the pipe or something. I thought Marcy tried to hang her. Oh no, she just took her into the vents. Oh god.
One spark and you'll take the whole
Oh,
building.
that's true. One spark. Yeah, that's all. Metal against metal. That would be a spark. Yeah, that's a bad idea. Oh, she even has a Queen graffiti thing on the brick wall. Oh, oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Oh. Oh, is she like sedating her? Oh, yeah, sedating her. Yeah. Oh, God. Ah.
My face is numb. What is she doing?
Are you sure you can talk?
I don't know.
Your lips wouldn't usually move if your face is numb, right? Or, I don't know, maybe still. Learn. Look, listen, learn. Learn what happens when you fuck around and find out.
Your beautiful face. That's what makes you shine.
Oh, she's gonna cut her. She's gonna try and steal her face. Has she got, like, surgical tools under there?
I think we should start with your smile.
Oh,
I think it
don't
should be
jokerize her. Don't jokerize her.
Marcy.
You think you can charm your way out of this, don't you? Isn't that what you think?
Oh.
I see right through.
Oh, no. Oh, Giles. Oh. Angel! Oh, the man is back. The return of the king. Again. The second one. Okay, Angel's back. He comes shining through. Yeah.
So we will shut it off, otherwise the whole building will go up.
I'll get it. It's not like I need the oxygen.
Oh, that's true. The undead can't die. Oh, good man, Angel. Yeah. Has he got a new leather jacket? I mean, I assume he can just buy new ones, right? Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh.
Buffy, are you okay?
Oh, that's the first time she's ever asked such a question. Oh god, oh. Oh, jeez. That'd be a really good time to bust out some Daredevil tricks. Hone that hearing, come on. Hone that hearing. Listen to the wind blow. Oh, that's such a cool slow-mo transition. Oh, now she's clearly visible. Now very visible, yeah. Oh.
Stay where you are.
Who the hell are you guys? Seriously.
FBI, nobody move.
The FBI.
I'm sorry, we came as fast as we could.
Are you sure? No.
Take it from here.
Bullshit. No, you've been slinking around in the corners the entire episode, and now all of a sudden you...
In time, she'll learn to be a useful member of society again.
The FBI? I don't buy that for a
This isn't the
second.
first time this has happened, is it?
But why would the FBI specialize in that, though?
Have a nice day.
Oh, no. God, the only thing they're missing is neuralizers, or deneuralizers, whichever they are.
Can I get untied now? I guess I just want to say thank you. All of you.
It's funny because she looks like Cordelia.
Hey, okay.
You
Give her a
really helped me
chance
out
now.
yesterday, and you didn't have to.
Listen, we were gonna grab lunch in a minute if you wanted to.
Well, you're not hanging with these losers, are you?
I was just being charitable, helping them with their fashion problems.
We were this close. We were this close. This close. I don't buy FBI for a second. Or maybe some secret kind of black books division of the FBI.
Class, this is Marcy.
Wait, there are other invisible kids? No way.
Everybody turn to page 54 of your texts.
No way. Assassination for Trisha. Oh, they're gonna ghost her like Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. They're gonna turn her into some kind of assassin or something. No way. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if there would have been any like fans of Cordelia back when season 1 was airing, because I feel like so far throughout season 1 she's been like a mostly touch and go character, but for the times she's been on, she has been, you know, I think this episode, like, I feel like insufferable would be an applicable word, but I think for the most part, I think before this, I think she's just kind of, she's obviously not been portrayed in a good light, she's not been painted to be like a likable, she's not meant to be like a likable character just yet, or she's not really meant to be like, you know, that like a character you enjoy watching on screen, like maybe for the sake of comedy, because I think like her own dialogue, like her own writing, like her own character isn't really likable or like by herself, but then like the way that her stuff bounces off of people like Willow and Xander instantly makes her scenes all the more likable, because like they're the ones who obviously and actively can't really like stand her very much, and they just kind of take any opportunity to take an insult or take like one of her kind of you know, like one of her pieces of dialogue, and then they actually bounce it back in like a really sassy and sarcastic kind of way, which I feel like anyone could love. But I think Cordelia herself, I think she's definitely a character. I think she's definitely like an acquired taste. I feel like at least in the first season, I feel like she's definitely an acquired taste, and I think I also really can't see them getting rid of her either. I think I really can't, like, I mean, or at least I hope they don't, because I think I would much rather they go I would much rather they actually could like continue her presence in the show into like season 2 and everything. Like not only that, but then actually take the opportunity to actually kind of bring her in like a more positive direction too. Because I think, you know, I feel like, you know, taking her out of the show at the end of season 1. With like this being all that we see of her would be like a bit of a waste, because then it's like, oh, you bring her in just to be like antagonistic, and then you take her out without really giving her the chance to actually do it. Because then like this episode clearly showed us that, you know, she does have some soft spots here and there. She does have some actual kind of like, you know, different kind of like little gaps in her armor, so to speak, and everything. So if you actually take the chance to explore that, then, you know, you have great potential to actually do something really good and useful and really kind of positive with the character, which I think any character pretty much kind of deserves. And again, I think it's also been shown that she really is. I think she is not an inherently terrible person. I think she has. I think what she's done is clearly, like, even and especially as a popular kid, what she's done is learned to adapt to the kind of social hierarchy of the school system, and I think she herself even says to she herself even actually told Buffy that, you know, like none of her friends, like none of the people she hangs around with actually know her. They're not really her friends. They're just kind of, you know, I think, because like I think she like on the one hand she has kind of built herself up this kind of pedestal of like where people are afraid to cross her, because then she's also done things where she's actually shown that she's capable of actually ruining someone else's life and actually kind of treating them like lesser than and everything, because she's a popular kid. Which I think is like I think that just might be like learned kind of tactics as the popular kid, like she knows how to make you feel like a social outcast, and she knows how to do this, that, and the other. But then on the other hand, I feel like in like a lot of what she's built up is also maybe like a defense mechanism too, and it's also like her being like, you know, she's and it's like her mentality is like, you know, it's better to be lonely with other people, or at least around other people, but then like as opposed to being lonely all by herself with no one listening to you, no one really paying attention to you, and you just kind of turn invisible and everything. So with her, she like her invisibility is actually like no one knowing who she really is, and it's like even we as an audience don't really know who she is either. Like I think literally the only like the only way we've seen her, the only lens through which we've seen her character is through Buffy and the team, and even through the other kids at school too. So like we've only really been able to see her as the one kind of like not just the popular kid at school, but then also like the one grounding, more human factor that everyone can kind of relate to. And I think everyone can relate to in the way that, you know, like in the way that you know someone like that. You know someone like, well, whether it's in school, whether it's at work, whether it's just in life, you know someone like that who's just kind of purposefully an arsehole, and they just kind of, you know, they abuse power and they just do all sorts of different kind of shit to people, and they help create like victims of power and everything. So like people like Marcy and everything. Well, stuff like that can happen in real life, but then just not with actual kind of superpowers or, you know, like quantum mechanical invisibility or anything like that. So, you know, there's that whole thing. But I think with Cordelia, and I was really pleasantly surprised by that too, because again, like even for this episode alone, even this episode being a Cordelia centric episode, I think we had like 90% her just being needlessly like arrogant, but then also her being arrogant just at any given opportunity, like any time she had a chance to talk, it's like the script just kind of would, you know, use that, you like just press like a button to just kind of make her say the most kind of self-absorbed kind of stuff. And again, I think like some projection there too, some projection, and I think she's definitely clearly shown to have like a whole kind of victim mentality type thing going on. Like anytime, you know, like the girl with the bike thing too, like, oh my god, that one had just made me want to face palm myself into oblivion. Like, you know, she can, you know, like even her. I think in that instance, it's also like the kind of like the complete lack of self-awareness too, like being like, you know, oh sure, I ran over her and damaged her leg and she was there wailing in pain, but me, like I think for her it's like, you know, oh, like, so like somehow it was all traumatizing for her, and then the girl wasn't even paying attention to how the girl wasn't even paying any attention to how in pain Cordelia must have been from all that kind of stuff. Like, I think no reference to exactly what could have happened to Cordelia. I think there was no reference to her feeling guilty. There was no reference to, I mean, because I feel like, right, Cordelia might be the kind of person to prioritize her guilt over her pain. I feel like, you know, she would have been like, you know, oh sure, you're in actual physical pain and you might even need medical attention, but then me, I feel terrible, so let's just focus on that. Let's actually kind of like, you know, pay recognition to how terrible I feel, even though I'm meant to, because I actually, you know, ran over you and hurt you and everything. Like, she'd be the kind of person to actually, or at least like that side of her would be the kind of person to actually, you know, do that kind of thing. I think for me that kind of sparks the interesting question, is like, you know, like if the way that she really feels is that, you know, no one really understands her or no one really knows who she is, but then where would the victim mentality, I want to ask, where would the victim mentality thing come from? But then, again, I feel like, I mean, maybe by adapting, she's adapted too much and she's actually internalized a lot of the stuff, and then she's actually started to believe in it, and then she's actually started to, you know, because then I feel like the part where she's actually open and vulnerable with Buffy is a small part of her, but it's also too weak to properly manifest, and even at the very end, like, she was too easily swayed by Mitch as well. Like she was this close to actually apologizing and being civil and being kind towards Buffy and the team, but then Mitch came along and he just chastised them, and then she just kind of fell right back into that kind of rabbit hole. Part of me really thought they might go in a different direction and have her be like, yeah, I actually am gonna hang out with these losers and I'm done with you. But no, she just kind of went straight back to Mitch and went back to being the Cordelia they all know and loathe. So yeah. And I think Cordelia might also, I don't know if we've gotten any hints as, I mean, I feel like we haven't really gotten many hints as to what Xander or Willow's home life is either, but I think, you know, Cordelia, I think her being the kind of bully of the story and everything, and her being like the popular kid who's also the bully, you know, I think a lot of the time I feel like most of the time we get glimpses into those kinds of characters' backstories to see, because then the common like cause is that, you know, oh, they have like a horrible home life, so then they, you know, go into the school or work or whatever, and then they project it onto others and they try and feel powerful and everything. But I think with Cordelia too, I think, you know, because I think it's also not uncommon to have characters who seem really flashy and posh and really fancy and really kind of like people who have everything and people who have it all held together, but then to find out the one look into their home life or their background or their background or something, and then it's like, oh, everything's a shambles, they're barely holding it together. It's like they come from a really kind of dark or really kind of grim kind of place, so then this is the one way that they feel like they have control and everything, which then feeds into them putting other people down to build them up. But with Cordelia, we haven't had that. I feel like I think maybe like if this episode had that, maybe if this episode actually had like a glimpse into home life, I feel like maybe if they did it like that too, because I think for some reason I think like they had her being all getting dressed up and everything at the school. I don't know why, because I mean, I feel like usually like you get dressed up like home and then you come in like the limo. I think, well, I mean, this wasn't prom. This was the May Queen thing, or whatever that was. I think I'm not familiar with that. I'm just about familiar with the concepts of, like, you know, prom and having kings and queens for proms and everything. So don't even know how that started, but that's the thing. It was the only thing I was aware of. I think this is literally the first time I'm hearing about May Queen. But either way, she got dressed at school, which I thought was kind of like seemed unique and a bit weird and everything. Because I think I'm usually so used to them actually getting dressed at home and then them coming in limos and doing all that kind of stuff. But then this was a completely different thing. But then I feel like if they still, even if she didn't come in a limo, but I feel like if maybe they actually used her getting dressed at home as like a reason to as like a way to actually look into her home life, see what her home life is like, see if she's as reveled over and actually like praised and glorified at home as she's at school. Because then maybe at home she's the one who's actually neglected. Maybe at home she's neglected by her parents, and they just kind of they give her what she kind of wants, maybe, but then they don't actually pay attention to her. Because then maybe that could have been like a great thing for Cordelia. Maybe at home she's the one who's invisible. She's the one who's actually unnoticed. Maybe even like regardless of whether she has siblings or even if she's like an only child, maybe her parents don't properly pay attention to her. They don't really know who she is. They don't really pay attention to her. They don't understand their own daughters, and maybe for Cordelia that's the actual thing. So then when she comes to school, that's when she finally feels like, now's her chance to really shine. But then even still at school, no one really notices her. No one really knows who she is. And maybe maybe that could have also been like a part of her own kind of doing as well. Like maybe in trying to be noticed at school, she got noticed in the wrong way. Maybe she actually built up like a false persona even at school. So maybe even then, even though people still acknowledge her and recognize her at school, maybe it's not like the real her. So maybe she's still like in that way she still builds up a shield. So then maybe she still does all this stuff. So I think I felt like that kind of felt like a bit of a missed opportunity, like actually keeping everything at school and like not really delving into her home life a bit more, actually finding out like who she is and where she comes from. At least for the audience, at least for us as an audience, kind of like felt like a bit of a missed opportunity. But hey, I mean, season 2 again, right around the corner. Maybe we can actually get some better stuff and bigger stuff with Cordelia. Because I think again, despite how much I actually did hold a lot of disdain and hold a lot of reverence towards Cordelia in this episode, I feel like she's still that like the fact that they gave her that one moment, not to say that we should. Not to say that we should have to settle for that, but then the fact that they actually, gave her that one moment of openness and vulnerability with Buffy kind of shows that, there's a lot more to Cordelia than just like a simple cold-hearted bully and everything. Maybe like there's actually a lot more layers to her that can and should be explored. So hopefully leaves high hopes for her character being involved in season 2 and the kind of things they could do with her and everything. So so I think for that reason I'm actually looking forward to it all the more, actually seeing what they can do with her. Because again, I think I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. I think keeping her as that kind of a character is going to get really stale and really cold really quickly, and I think people can very easily lose interest in that kind of a character over time very quickly too. So I think if they actually turn corners with her sooner, then it'll actually keep people hooked and keep people invested in everything. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to seeing where they go. And again, I think with Cordelia, I think it's also doesn't feel like an inherent kind of arrogance or evil. I feel like it's definitely like years of putting on this facade that then she has allowed to bleed into her actual kind of life and her actual presentation. That at this point, it's all she really knows now, and also like she really, I think her mentality is that it's better to be alone, to be lonely and to be someone else around people than it is to actually have to suffer with yourself or whatever. Because again, like I think Cordelia is clearly very, very extroverted too. So I think she has clearly been shown to actually thrive around like social interaction and social activity and social kind of presence and everything. So she, but even then, it's like she can't I think at this point she probably feels like she can't really be herself around these people, because then she's built up too much of an image that even they believe in. So then it would actually on the one hand you could argue that she, like, her being in control of her own image and the school's kind of social kind of system as she is, she could probably kind of do some change from within. But then also I feel like she has clearly made it so that people kind of now have like a pretty rigid understanding of what's okay and what isn't, and if she tries to break against that mold, she also runs the risk of actually everyone disagreeing with her and everyone kind of shunning her, and everything being even more broken than it already is. So I don't know, but either way, definitely looking forward to seeing what more of Cordelia's kind of character and her future we can look forward to, and maybe even like a glimpse into her background, like I said. So I guess all in good time. All in good time. And we had what was her name? I wrote down, I think, Marcy Ross, I believe her name was, Marcy Ross. She was the Invisible Girl, and I recognize the actress from a couple of places. I think there was a movie way back when with Jensen Ackles and then Danielle Harris, I think now Danielle Ackles after she married him. I mean, I'm pretty sure she changed her name. I'm pretty sure, but there was a movie way back when with Jensen and Danielle. Can't remember what it was. I think initially to start off with, Jensen had like facial hair and like a mohawk, and he looked really like punk and everything. He had that look, but then I think by the end of the movie he actually went for the he went for more like a Dean Winchester look after that, with the kind of like everything taken off and his hair apart and everything. But I think that might have been the movie that they met on, and they actually then fell in love and got married and everything. So that was like a cute little meet story for them. But with them in that movie, I'm pretty sure the actress who played Marcy in this was there too. I think when I was trying to actually remember stuff I've seen her from, that was the first thing that popped into my head. And I'm pretty sure she's actually been in like other kind of movies over time as well. Also maybe similar-ish roles in terms of character and in terms of like character like personalities and everything. So don't know if she gets typecast, or maybe if she actually just prefers telling those roles, or prefers like telling those stories and playing those roles or something. But either way, I think for me, she's definitely like a recognizable face, so that was really cool. But in this, she did play the Invisible Girl. So yeah, it was an Invisible Girl. So I think even Giles mentioned going in, it could have been an Invisible Girl, could have been someone with telekinesis, could have been a poltergeist even. I don't think we like that. I don't think we've had any ghosts yet. I don't know if we've actually had any real kind of ghosts yet. We've had vampires, obviously. We've had all sorts of different like creatures and different kind of like mystical beings, but I don't know if we've actually had any ghosts yet. So I think that might be something interesting to look into in the future. But yeah, no, I think for me the two personal possibilities were telekinesis or ghost. But then I think with the addition of the actual kind of creepy giggling and everything in the background, I feel like I feel like either ghost or I think invisibility would have been kind of possible there. But yeah, invisibility was the one. And even the way it happened to, even the way that then the Giles then actually explained it too. So it was like because then I thought maybe this could have been like another witchcraft thing, because then maybe because then like the original witch we had actually learned was a woman who learned how to body swap with her daughter, and I think I don't know if they ever actually mentioned it back then, but I think maybe the same way that the Hellmouth and all the mystical energy coming out of it actually allowed Marcy to be invisible for this. Maybe that was actually also the kind of propellant and the kind of not the tangent, what's the word I'm looking for? The catalyst for the witchcraft stuff back then. Maybe it could have actually been the same thing back, like a similar thing back then. Because I feel like being around the Hellmouth, like you're like more likely to run into people with these powers, like not only then, but then people who actually have these powers with ease too. Because I feel like if you're anywhere else in the world where there isn't a Hellmouth, then it's still possible, but it will probably take a lot more time because the energy isn't as strong there. But then with the Hellmouth, it's like anyone can come here and research all this kind of weird stuff and still make it all the more possible. So then it being the Hellmouth, like it being the Hellmouth, it increases the chances and it increases the power behind it too. So yeah, but then with this one too, he also said it was actually more to do with like quantum mechanics too, and like reality, like rules of reality breaking down and all that kind of stuff, kind of shifting and being more malleable because of the Hellmouth too. So interesting to have like a bit of science behind this. Interesting to have like a bit more of like a bit more of actual science behind this. In addition to Hellmouth kind of mysticism kind of taking place too. Because I think as soon as you mentioned quantum mechanics and reality and walls and stuff like that kind of stuff happening, I thought my like right before he mentioned the Hellmouth, my personal guess was going to be maybe tied into the Hellmouth kind of powers boosting it. I think my guess was going to be, maybe she's actually shifted in and out of reality, so maybe she's actually between the borders between worlds, so maybe she's between this world and like another world. So then maybe because she's between the doorways, maybe then that allows her to be invisible. So she's not fully here, but then she's not fully there either. So maybe that could have been the thing, like exactly like pretty much exactly like Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp actually being torn apart, but then also kind of shifting between phases and shifting between like phases of matter and existence and everything. So felt like it could be a possibility, but I think either way, I think the Hellmouth magic did kind of allow her to kind of shift in and out. I feel like that could have still been the possibility. He said it actually changed the way that it changed the rules of perception, so it changed the way that people perceived her. So then, now this time, people who didn't perceive her before, even when she was in full corporeal, even when she was in full physical form, now kind of didn't even detect her in corporeal form. So. And I feel like that's a really interesting kind of thing, like a way to put it too, because then, I think maybe the fact that they kind of highlighted Marcy's case too, the fact that with Marcy, she actively tried to engage with people, she tried to engage with Cordelia and her friends, and even in class, I think the class one really surprised me, because then, even when she put her hand up willingly, like presumably knowing the answer, she still didn't get picked, like that kind of thing, because there are enough cases of kids being randomly picked on, especially when they don't know the answers. So I feel like, if you're in a class and you're a teacher and you actually have kids who willingly put their hands up, you got to give them a chance. You really got to give them a chance instead of actually going after the ones who clearly don't, aren't really kind of following along, or who clearly kind of are having trouble following along, and then putting them on the spot, because then teachers teachers are notorious for that too. Actually picking out random kids and putting them on the spot and then chastising them when they don't know the answer or something. But then you got kids like Marcy who are actually willingly putting up their hands and were willing to contribute, and then you just kind of gloss over them, like that kind of thing. But then also the fact that she just gets kind of ignored by the teachers too, that kind of really kind of shocked me as well. I think being isolated by students and being isolated and being pushed away by students is like a I think like a somewhat more understandable thing, but then at the same time, it's being ignored by teachers. I feel like it's that much more kind of that's when it really kind of hits, because then even the teachers, even people who are meant to kind of acknowledge you and people who are meant to kind of acknowledge your presence in the class and actually meant to take your input and everything, even they're ignoring you. So that kind of stuff just really yeah. And especially that yearbook thing got me too. That yearbook thing, have a nice one, because I thought the fact that it was all I thought the fact that it was all the same message meant that she wrote them herself. I thought it was really that kind of sad of a story. Maybe she actually literally no one wanted to write in her yearbook because no one knew her, or because everyone ignored her. They just kind of walked past her and just ignored her. As she kept asking if people wanted to sign her yearbook. So I thought maybe that was the thing. Maybe it felt like for her that was the only kind of only message / nicest message she could think of. So then she wrote it in different handwriting for everyone and actually drove herself mad with that kind of thing. But no, apparently everyone actually did physically write in it, but then just no one wrote anything unique. Everyone wrote the same thing, which was "Have a nice summer." And apparently according to social statistics from Willow and Xander, that was the most basic, most kind of ignorant kind of thing you could write, when you really don't know someone and when you really kind of ignored them, and proof that you ignored someone for the whole year or even years is writing "Have a nice summer" in the yearbook. Or at least according to Willow, she wrote "Have a great summer," so she actually tried to switch things up a little bit, I think, which I'm guessing that she wrote that because she had a look at all the other kind of notes, and then probably tried to switch hers up to make them seem just a little bit more unique. But I guess, I really don't know. I really don't know how you can write anything else with that. I don't know how you can write anything unique or anything else without striking up a conversation with her. But then that would mean that people would have to actually acknowledge her and actually pay attention to her. But then that's the problem. No one ever did. So that was the issue. But yeah, apparently have a nice summer. It kind of makes sense, I guess, because it really is. It's not just a simple sentiment. But then I think in this context, it's also a really basic thing and a basic message to write. So because of that, it's proof that no one really kind of cares or pays attention to you. So then it's have a nice summer. It's the most basic thing you can tell someone. But then, yeah, I guess in any other context, I think for anyone else could really see it as a really simple and sweet sentiment. But then for her, it's it's just further proof that no one really cares. The fact that everyone wrote the fact that literally not a single person other than Willow actually wrote something even slightly different. The fact that everyone wrote the exact same thing. I think that's why. I think maybe if one or two people did it and then everyone else did something unique and special, then of course that would be more uplifting. But then the fact that literally every other message was have a nice summer, that is yeah. And I think I'm glad that Giles was present to actually to actually present as the kind of generational gap, and to present as the one person who actually didn't know why that was such a bad thing, because then even I didn't know. Oh, have a nice summer. I guess you can kind of infer from every message being the same that, oh, it's probably not a good thing, but then I didn't really know. It was like social codes dictate that have a nice summer means that no one really cares about you or knows who you are. So yeah, that was the problem. That was the problem. And then, of course, we had the almighty return of the king. We had the return of the king. I've seen that meme pop up even more now because of Din Djarin's return to the Book of Boba Fett as the Mandalorian. Like I think the episode itself was titled The Return of the Mandalorian, but then people were endlessly posting gifs and pictures of like, oh, Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King. So in this one, the return of our king, King Angelus, King Angel. So he returned to us. I really didn't expect that. I did not think we'd be seeing him again so soon. I didn't think we'd be seeing him again. Definitely not at the end of the season. I thought, oh, this is the last we see of him until at least season 2. So this was a very pleasant surprise, and a very, very well crafted one too. A very well crafted crafted return too, of like initially like the creaking, and then Giles not really seeing anyone around him, and then even looking at I thought someone might pop up in the reflection. I thought Marcy might pop up in the reflection, but then just not really be visible in real life. So maybe she's only visible in reflections or something. I thought that would be like a kind of cool new trait as a result of invisibility, but no, that wasn't the case. So then the fact that there was no reflection there, but then as soon as you turn back into real life, then Angel was standing right next to him, and then Giles realizes and is like, oh, Angel's vampires in a reflection. Yeah, makes sense. So then Angel returns, so that was a cool new reveal for him. Cool new reveal. But he was keeping his distance. He was engaging with the team and Giles, but not with Buffy, because he thought it's too hard for him to be around her. For him to be around her, especially after what happened and how they left things, and then even the team at the very end keeping things from her as well. Actually saying like, oh, it was like a janitor who came and saved them in the boiler room and everything. So yeah, so Buffy is blissfully unaware. She's blissfully unaware that her vampire ex kind of showed up and saved her, like ever so slightly helped save the day and save her friends and everything. So I mean, probably for the best, because I feel like they're definitely a case of like I think she she might feel even worse that he came back and visited her friends and her mentor, but then not her herself. But then I think it might just bring back more feelings of like contempt or sadness or something. So probably best that the next time, like when she does find out he's back, is because he tells her and he actually comes to visit her specifically. But it was specifically because he finds out because he feels that he's ready to visit her again. So for now, maybe keep her in the dark. But either way, he showed up. Not dealt with the invisible. I mean, not really dealt with the invisible girl. The invisible girl stuff. He helped rescue them from the chamber and everything. But then that was it. But then otherwise, he was here for the master. He was here to help kind of maintain and keep the master stuff that was in the background kind of afloat, and probably even preparing something for the finale. Probably even preparing some master content for the finale and everything. So there was that. And I mean, because he even mentioned like the fact that he can feel the master's preparing something really big and powerful and bad, but he just can't tell what it is. And I thought that might be to some time to actually bring up the anointed one thing. But I think I'm not sure they even know that the anointed one is the kid. I get the feeling that they thought the anointed one would have been the guy they killed by throwing him into the furnace. I'm pretty sure they thought that they thought that guy was the anointed one, and they possibly think. I mean, have they mentioned him otherwise? I'm not sure if they've actually mentioned the anointed one otherwise. I feel like if they knew that the anointed one was still out there, then I feel like Giles especially could have mentioned that here and now. Like he could have said oh, the master still has his hands on the anointed one and he's still preparing him in some way, so we've got to expect him next time in the next episode. That would have been a really meta piece of dialogue, but still. But they did mention some like vampire like lore books and everything, and the one I actually managed to write down, because I think Giles mentioned a couple. The one name I actually managed to note down. I think it's understandably like the one that Angel actually got for him in the end was the Pergamum Codex. And I think it's like a book of some kind of vampire lore that lists out the end years of the Slayer. The end years. I think that kind of term right there kind of piqued my kind of curiosity, and I think especially like that kind of label too, like this specifically the NDS. I think that kind of like got me thinking like, oh, maybe it's like the end, maybe it's to do with the end of the Slayer, maybe like because I think for every generation a Slayer is born, so then like only one Slayer per generation. So when eventually when Buffy grows old and dies or gets killed or something, then actually if Buffy died like now, like right now, like the same way that we saw her die in the Nightmare World, like not the same way, but I think in the same manner, but like if Buffy were to die like at this young of an age, or at least like somewhere like halfway through her lifespan, because then is the lifespan of the Slayer prophesized? Is there some kind of prophecy out there where it says like, oh, Buffy will die before she's meant to, or like Buffy will die like in the middle of her life, but like instead of growing old and dying peacefully, or like Buffy's gonna be killed by a vampire like in the middle of her life, and then like a new Slayer must be born, because then she's the Slayer for this generation, like every generation. But then is she the Slayer for her generation, or is she just a Slayer for this generation that's currently ongoing? Like that kind of stuff, because then if it's for her generation, then it's like that's for her kind of age group. But then if she dies, then is like another another girl who's already her age, like randomly picked by destiny to be the new Slayer, or like is there like gonna be like maybe the coming generation then gets like a new Slayer, like maybe like a new girl gets born and then she becomes the new Slayer or something. I don't know, that kind of thing kind of got me thinking because I think the end years of the Slayer kind of hint me towards it's to do with the final few years of the Slayer's life before they end or something, I don't know, but either way it's a book, but it's a surprisingly small book too. Like it looked like a little pocket book, or like a little handbook or something. Like I was like it being vampire lore, I was kind of expecting it to be like a giant, like really fashionably spined and designed kind of fancy book with like endless pages and that kind of stuff. But I think maybe that's just me being misled by all the many books we've seen in the show so far, and like I said, it's just all those books making me think that every kind of lore book is like that, when most of them are just like most of them can still be kind of regular books. They just look normal and all that kind of stuff. But then Angel had it. Angel said it wasn't lost, it was just misplaced. Then I think supposedly he was the one who misplaced it maybe, and he just kind of found it, and then he brought it back to Giles and everything. So now Giles has the Pergamum Codex, and now we're going to find out exactly what kind of end years for the Slayer that kind of entails, and maybe that's even going to be the key to learning more about the Master, or actually learning about his plan, or pray tell even stopping the Master in some way. So it'll be good to see exactly how that comes into play, so that'll be fun. And again, I'll say it again, I do not for a I mean, I don't want to believe they're FBI, but then even if they are FBI, definitely like an off the record, or like a black books division of the FBI that doesn't actually allow this stuff to get out. Like the same way that there was a secret kind of little kind of sect of Hydra that infiltrated and made up most of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the MCU. This, I think, maybe like not like an infiltrated kind of sect of the FBI, but maybe like a darker, more secretive sect of the FBI that's dedicated to dealing with maybe something like X-Files, because I think X-Files. I think I've never seen X-Files, but I'm pretty sure the X-Files is also like an actual sect of like a government kind of investigation division that's actually meant to investigate all the paranormal and creepy stuff going on across the world. So I'm pretty sure that's what the X-Files meant to be. So maybe like a section of the X-Files, but then for the FBI in the Buffy universe and everything. So I'm sure there must be people out there. I'm sure there must have been people out there who would have liked to see a crossover between Buffy and the X-Files, and maybe that could have been possible, but I don't know. Never actually properly watched the X-Files myself. I think I know of Dana and Scully, and of course Gillian Anderson and the guy who plays the other one, and of course the iconic theme tune. I know that much. That's all I know. And think that they investigate paranormal stuff, but I've never actually seen the show myself. I think I was too young when it actually came out, and then even as I grew up, I just kind of forgot it was a thing, and then somehow reminded of it. But either way, must be that kind of a division for the FBI. So yeah, because I think even the way they communicate with her too, because I think they walked through the hallway almost side by side, but then once they got around the door, they actually left like a space between them, and then they were actually looking directly down at her as if she was in between them and everything. So I think they're clearly used to dealing with it, and then that kind of confirmation comes in when she walks into a room, and it's not just, I think you probably think it's like a school or something for kids with all sorts of different kind of like paranormal abilities, but then no, it's actually I mean, that's still possible, but then in this context, it's mostly a classroom full of all sorts of other kind of invisible kids who, you know, may or may not have undergone the kind of same kind of cruel social kind of judgment and, you know, isolation that Marcy could have gone through. Maybe these are kids who also felt invisible, and then the hell Marcy turned them invisible and everything. So it's like a whole classroom full of invisible kids. So that is, again, just the freakiest shit. So there's that, and then of course there's like a fairly like a perfectly like a fully kind of viewable kind of teacher who's like fully in physical form and everything. Just telling them to turn to page 1 and 11 and all that kind of stuff. And then of course you get to the book. I think even the way they actually kind of half held the pages kind of flickering over, like you saw infiltration in the corner, and then actually turned to the page and it was like assassination and infiltration and everything. So I think, yeah, again, they did that to Ghost in the MCU. They did that to Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like the Hydra part of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually like actually got their hands on her, and then they actually weaponized her and turned her, you know, her kind of her quantum kind of abilities into like into their own weapon. They turned her into an assassin that was occasionally invisible. So I think probably gonna do that to these kids too. I think they're invisible. They're the perfect, like it feels so horrible to say, but you know, them being invisible and them, you know, like Marcy already knows how to inflict violence and pain onto other people. So chances are these kids know the exact same thing too. And I think they've been in here for a while, so they would be the perfect assassins for the U.S. government to use. I think, again, like, you know, I think goes to show you how twisted the FBI and potentially the U.S. government is on the whole too. Actually, kind of like, you know, kids go through this stuff and then they see opportunity. They see opportunity for power and control, and they just, you know, like especially like that chapter being assassination and infiltration, so actually sending them into potentially other governments or other kind of parts of the world and other parts of the country, maybe, and actually having them do all sorts of weird shit. So that's a mind boggler. That's a whole mind boggler. So that's just like an ending I never would have, I never would have expected. But then I think at the very least I kind of had doubts that these guys were FBI in pure form or anything. So, you know, either like a dark sect of the FBI, or maybe like a darker sect of the U.S. government as a whole, kind of masquerading as the FBI. Because then they were popping up here and there throughout the episode too. I think at the very beginning, I think after Mitch got injured, like they were hanging out by the tree, and then later on by the coronation, they were hanging out by the gates and everything. So they were popping up here and there, actually keeping like tabs on different kind of things and everything. So in the end, we find out that this is their real agenda. So yeah, it's freaky, but I kind of love it. I'm kind of curious to know where it goes. So yeah, I don't know if they're actually gonna bring anything back, because I feel like this could very easily go down the path of being a storyline that they never revisit again. Like similar to VJ on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like how he was killed and then his body tossed in the ocean and then his husk reformed. So then that was the hint that, oh, he actually might be saved and he might just kind of bust out as like a new Inhuman again. But then they never went back to it. They just kind of left him in the ocean in yet another husk and everything. So I think to this day he's still down there, just kind of doing his own things. I feel like with this might be a very similar case with Marcy too. This might be the last we see of Marcy, but then it might be the last we see of this kind of story as a whole. So maybe they just kind of leave it at that kind of a loose end. Like, oh, there's like a kind of like a secret organization within the U.S. government that's kind of training invisible kids to be their own personal winter soldiers or something. So yeah, I think, I mean, it makes you wonder, like, you know, like, would the kids really go along with it? I think, because the books themselves are explicit enough. It's about infiltration and assassination. So I think Marcy never wanted to kill. I think Marcy wanted revenge, but then she never really wanted to like kill anyone or actually kind of bring her country to its knees or anything like that. So, you know, or even bring any other country to its knees. I feel like that's the kind of thing where. That's the kind of case where like stuff like indoctrination and brainwashing would come into play. So then that way they convince them, oh, you're going to be heroes, you're going to be, you know, patriots, and you're going to be doing the right thing for your country by destroying other people's countries and everything. So I don't know, like exactly what that's meant to go into. I mean, not a lot of hints, but just like a few bits and pieces here and there that kind of you know make you think and everything. So yeah, I'm willing to bet they might never revisit this again, and actually might just kind of end it here, and like we're just kind of left wondering what happens to Marcy, and what happens to those kids. But then, yeah, it'll be like an even more wild thing if they actually did bring it back in like a future season, but in like a really devastating way. Like, oh, they're like some invisible assassins, trained by the U.S. government, just going around doing stuff. So I don't know, but either way, that's the ending we got. That's the ending for Marcy. So she's now going to be trained to be an invisible Winter Soldier. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got from this episode. That's all I've got from this episode. I mean, usually, again, my reviews easily stretch like an hour and a half, so, I would be somewhat, I like, to this day, I am still somewhat surprised if anyone actually manages to stick through this ginormous kind of sector review that I do. So if you are still on, if you are still, if you're here, then thank you. You're amazing. You're amazing for actually being willing to listen to me ramble and go on endlessly and just kind of talk on tangents and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, these are pretty much my reviews, and should I work on changing? Should I work on changing them? I don't know. This is just this is what happens when I actually start talking. It's just me just kind of going on and on until I feel like I've covered most, if not everything. So yeah, but believe it or not, when I stop recording, I do sometimes eventually kind of start remembering other stuff. I feel like I could have talked about. So believe it or not, like eventually my mind does come up with even more thoughts that could have easily stretched this to like 2 or 3 hours. So, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. So yeah. But yeah, thank you for being here. That's pretty much it. So that was Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 1, Episode 11. So, as always, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching this video, among all others. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment on what your thoughts are and on how you felt about this episode, how you felt about Cordelia, how you felt about Marcy, and if there are any stories you could relate to. Probably not literally turning invisible or anything, but any kind of thoughts you have on this episode as a whole, if you're looking forward to the finale, if you're looking forward to Season 2. And everything, and yeah, and the full length reaction for those interested will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that one out over there. But yeah, that is it for now. So until the next time, bye bye for now.